needing recovery is pretty much a privilege.
You've used a massage gun, right, Kate?
Of course. I love these things. So I don't want you to tell me they're not helpful. Just kidding. You don't. I want to hear, but like it's just not doing anything recovery. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the How to Fitness podcast. I'm Kate Lyman.
And I'm Michael Uja.
And we have a deep dive today. Michael, it's all you. I'm actually coming in like quite blind to this one. I had said, Michael, this would be a good topic for you, and then immediately put it out of my head. And now we're talking about it.
Yeah, we have like a little list of like stuff we want to cover, and this one had like big brackets like Michael would be good for this one. I took it as like a strong hint that you wanted me to do it, Kate. So here we are.
I didn't want you to. I just felt like, oh, that'd be good.
No,
I felt like I'm not going to talk about this topic, so someone has to.
I like it. It's also funny, as I was prepping my office for this recording, I had to like physically dust off my microphone for today as well. So I feel like I'm really prepared. I've gone through the motions. We've got a good solid script ready to go. I'm so excited. It's going to be good. There's a little bit of crossover, I will say, of an episode I did in the past about cold water immersion, which I will touch on later today. But it's a timely topic, one that people are always interested in. So I hope people enjoy it.
I for one think I'm going to learn a lot.
I hope so.
I'm here to learn. Teach me.
I hope so.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So before we dive in, once again, the bit that we always forget to do, Kate, if you've been enjoying these episodes, please give us a little review. I know that some platforms don't allow a review. They just like a little star button thing.
We love the stars.
We love
even
the stars.
Easier.
Yeah, anything you can do to help boost our podcast, please do. I'd really appreciate it. Share it with someone you love, and hopefully they will love it too.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, cool. So today's deep dive is into basically the recovery industry, whatever you kind of want to call that. You could argue that it's part of like the biohacking industry or the wellness industry, or it probably fits under a lot of brackets. So I thought what we should probably do is like set the scene, describe like what recovery actually is. So we'll define it first of all, because the industry loves to kind of skip over that part. We just kind of see the flashy headlines of what products people are selling us without actually kind of what is the intention here behind all of these practices. So recovery is your body returning to baseline and adapting to training so that you come back stronger next time. So that's kind of it in a very short sentence. So it basically means like refilling muscle glycogen stores, repairing tissue, restoring nervous system balance, resolving inflammation from training, and just letting your brain kind of chill out enough to recover post whatever you are doing. It's not like laying in a flotation device listening to Coldplay. I was gonna say Coldplay. That feels very random. Why did I choose Coldplay? Actually, this is very off topic, Kate. I really don't like Coldplay.
I was just gonna say, I know that you hate Coldplay, so it's weird that it came front of mind for you.
Maybe it's just because it kind of felt like nothing music, low blow, where it just kind of like, in a flotation device. I don't know. There's something about that band that rubs me up the wrong way. Don't know what it is, but it's...
I love that I know this about you, and like I know it like so strongly. Like, what does Michael feel strongly about? Oh, he does not like Coldplay.
So I'm usually of the opinion, like, if you love it, amazing, I'm happy for you. But for some reason, Coldplay just doesn't sit in that bracket. I will judge you if you like Coldplay. Sorry to all the Coldplay lovers that are listening to this episode.
I'm sure they forgive you. I did do one of those flotation things once.
Have you? I've never tried them before.
Okay, this is just a me experience. So this does not translate to anyone else. I hate being still. I hate sitting with my thoughts. I hate being quiet and in quiet. And I did this thing, this flotation pod, and I got in, and you just lay there, right? And there was music, but it was like spa music. It was not Coldplay.
Okay. I'd rather listen to spa music.
It was like 4 minutes in where I was like, this is my worst nightmare.
How long were you in there for?
I think it was supposed to be like 30.
Oh, no.
And I was struggling with like the not moving part, and I had touched my face actually on accident. And in doing so, it's all salt water, right? Like that's how the flotation works. I got the salt in my eye, and my eye really hurt. And I was like sitting there trying to like be okay. I wore contacts at the time, so you know how that is. Like it's like way worse. It gets under your eye. And I was just like, this is the worst torture of my life. And I got out, and then I went to look at the timer, and it was like 6 minutes. And I was like, wow, I paid a lot of money. to just completely fail.
Yeah.
And then I never returned. And so that was my experience. I'm not saying it's bad. It just at the moment was not for me. And I kind of felt like it was a punishment.
The people running the clinic expecting to like lift the lid and you're like really zen, but you're just freaking out because you've got salt water in your
I know,
eye.
and it was a friend who owned the clinic. And
awkward.
I just sat in the room for the full 30 minutes, like make it seem like I did it.
Oh, did
like,
you?
That was
Oh,
great.
wow. Okay. Yeah, you're too kind, Kate.
Yeah.
Too kind.
All right. Anyway, sorry, that was a tangent, but
Yeah.
I assume that's also kind of relevant to.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is. Yeah, we digress. And so here's the headline, I guess, that I will repeat a lot throughout this episode is that most of your recovery will come from sleep, fueling your body well, hydration, like this sensible training load, and like managing your intensity of movement as well. Like those account for the overwhelming majority of the results that people are going to have when it comes to recovery. Probably like 99% of what people are going to have
Boring.
for recovery. I know. I thought I'd just kind of set the tone at the start of this episode, Kate, and everything else.
Bring the excitement down from the get-go.
Yeah, 7 minutes in, we could just kind of turn the episode off now. Yeah, like, and everything else is just like a little garnish on top, right? Of just like the little extras. Some garnish is good. Others, yeah, they just ruin a meal. Let's put it that way. So yeah, let's just kind of set people's expectations of at the start of this episode of kind of how most of this will go. But that doesn't mean that all these recovery tools are useless, you know? So how did we get here, first of all? So how do we end up with recovery as being like an identity of so much of the fitness industry? So historically, tools like compression, cold, massage, and even heat lived in elite sport and physio clinics. And then along came social media, biohacking, celebrity montages, and an ever-growing wellness industry, spearheaded by Gwyneth Paltrow and many other celebrities that are guilty. We couldn't not have a dig at Gwyneth Paltrow if we're talking about recovery, but
throw Brian Johnson in the mix.
Yeah,
too.
and Brian Johnson, yeah, and it's maybe not all their fault, but what are you going to do? We're still going to blame them because we're not fans at all. And recovery, just like fitness and nutrition, has slowly become something kind of that you perform. Like it's not focusing on what genuinely matters. It does become a little bit of a performance. Like, I don't need to rest. I can engineer rest, or whatever kind of nonsense these people come out with. And there's also a psychology here where when life feels chaotic, buying something or like using a device gives you a little bit more control. You're actually doing something, and doing something often feels better than admitting that you need 8 hours of sleep and like a nutrient dense sandwich, you know?
I think as you're talking through this, like what comes up also for me is like rituals are nice to have. So like having a recovery ritual could feel really comforting. Even if like maybe it does aid in recovery because you do slow down for a moment for yourself. But it's less because of the red light therapy and more because you took a minute to relax, you know?
Yeah. Completely agree. And also on that topic as well, like placebo matters, you know, like
Absolutely.
placebo is huge. So if something feels good and you relax, that's a win. Because if you relax subjectively, you're going to be recovering better. And that's valid. We will talk about this a little bit, but it's not the same as like physiological recovery. But if that helps, then who am I to knock it, you know?
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Kate, how do you recover? I guess I should probably ask, like, what's your like main recovery tool here?
I am very protective of my sleep, like as much as one can be, right? Given
Especially with a toddler.
Especially with a toddler who is going to bed later and later. And I do wake myself up early and come to my office really early. So like within the constraints of my schedule, I do try to be as protective as I can of my sleep. And that's like kind of one of my top priorities in all of life, because I recognize how much better or worse I feel depending on sleep. You know this very well. Other than that, I take rest days from my training, and I still refuse to stretch even after your stretching episode. And that is the extent of my recovery. I drink a lot. I mean, like my normal habits are kind of my recovery approach. I eat after I work out, which is a mainly hunger management strategy for me. But I drink a lot of water. Kind of the boring stuff.
Nice. So no like goat
like,
yoga or anything crazy like this.
Oh, I
no.
hate
Okay.
yoga. like not like love it for everyone else, but it kind of comes down to the like.
I feel like we'll
quiet.
get more hate for that than me saying I hate Coldplay. This could
No,
could
but I
split
love
the fan
yoga
base
for
here.
other people.
Just not for you.
Like the stillness and quiet isn't. It's not my favorite.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I'll say.
fair. Yeah, I guess because I don't love Coldplay for other people. I just judge it.
That's the difference. I'm not judging anyone. I love
Okay.
that everyone else loves yoga, and I wish. Actually, once I used to go to what was called a power flow espresso hot yoga class. And so it
that's
was
too many
fast.
words. That's
no,
too
listen how great it was. It was short. It was 40 minutes instead of an hour.
Okay.
It was fast. Like you didn't hold poses. It was kind of like a workout, and it was in a hot room. And they played like rock music or something. And I was like, this is what I can do. Like this is
I need to relax whilst people are shouting at me.
This is like, it wasn't relaxing. And so that's probably why I liked it. Anyway, I would say being protective of my sleep. And I take rest days, and if I need an extra rest day, I just take it and I just move my training appropriately.
I like
or
that.
skip or whatever.
I like it. I used to have a good friend of mine is a yoga teacher, and we used to trade personal training in-person sessions for one-to-one yoga classes, and she did like yin yoga mostly, which is like the slow
stretching.
I don't know I don't know a lot about yoga, so I apologize if I'm butchering this, but yeah, like long static holds, and then at the end was like a relaxation bit. And we've both admitted, Kate, we don't like stretching. We kind of do it because we're supposed to occasionally, but I really liked the lying down for 10 minutes at the end. That was always my favorite
like
bit.
A mini nap.
Yeah, like a little mini nap at the end before I went on with my day. I could get on board with that yoga, just like a 10-minute nap class. I'm in.
Michael creates a new form of recovery, like
napping.
quick shavasana. That's it. Love it. Rebrand napping as something snappy, and you've got a business. You're a biohacker now.
There we go. Channel that inner Gwyneth and we'll make millions, Kate.
If only.
Cool. So, okay, your recovery tools are pretty boring in the best way possible, Kate. It sounds like you're doing things right. So basically in this episode, I'm going to run through like the major players of the recovery world. I feel like we need a better name for I don't really know what you call the recovery world, but just like the recovery scene.
Wait. Let me first say, let me just add in, because I don't know what you're going to talk about tools-wise, but here's what I wish I had as these recovery tools.
Okay.
The Normatec boots. Have you ever put those on?
We talk about these. Yeah.
Yes.
I've never worn them before. I've never worn them before.
Oh my gosh. They're amazing. I don't know about function, the efficacy of them, which I'm excited to learn, but they feel so great. And when I was in my ultra running days, I had a friend with the Normatec boots, and I would like put those Normatec boots on.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before too. I love a sauna.
Nice.
I don't even know if that's supposed to be a recovery tool, but the hot cold thing.
Yeah.
I could be into that as recovery. Currently, I've only done it as fun.
We talk about like infrared saunas in this as well. Should we start with the compression boots then, seeing as you just touched on that? We'll kind of rejig it around a little bit. So for anyone who isn't aware, you've probably seen people on social media sat there with their feet in these kind of like big inflated boots. If you haven't, it's fine, but they're growing in popularity, I think, and they're basically hollow fabric boots that cover the feet, lower legs and thighs, and it contains multiple chambers. Each of these sleeves fills with air, one after the other, to compress or squeeze one section of the lower body at a time, starting at the feet and working up towards the hip. Please interrupt me, Kate, if I'm not getting this correct, because I've never done it before.
That's like a pressure massage.
Yeah, exactly. So this process is called intermittent pneumatic compression, or IPC, and medical professionals have long used it to reduce foot and leg swelling in patients with serious health conditions such as lymphedema, deep vein thrombosis, or pulmonary embolisms. And in patients with edema, compression boots help push deoxygenated blood from the lower body back up towards the heart. So kind of like squeezing a tube of toothpaste. Is that what it feels like?
It's exactly what it feels like.
Okay, great. So in athletes, intermittent pneumatic compression largely works the same way, but the toothpaste in question isn't just the blood. It's like post-exercise inflammation that it carries is kind of the thought process here. So compression boots help move the bad, I'm using air quotes, bad metabolic byproducts from the lower leg into the circulatory system to be pumped throughout the body, and replace it with new and freshly oxygenated blood, which promotes an environment for muscular healing and recovery. You could tell I'm reading this off a website that was trying to sell it.
I was going to say, wait,
yeah.
is that what it actually does? Or is that what it says it does?
This is what it says. This is from the Nike website. They had like an
Okay.
article on promoting the benefits of
Okay.
of these compression boots. And to be honest, I read that and I was sold. I wanted to give it a go. So what does the research say about this? So it claims that it improves circulation, reduces soreness, faster recovery in like 30 minutes or so. How long did you use them for, Kate?
It was like, there's like a timer on them. So probably like that.
Yeah, I think, I'd say there's a few different brands and I think different approaches. So so there was a study worth flagging, and it's the effects of lower limb intermittent pneumatic compression on sports recovery. And the headline basically was the boots produced small to trivial improvements in muscle function and small to moderate reductions in perceived soreness. But the effects on objective muscle damage markers like CK levels were a little bit all over the place. Interestingly, the most commonly used protocols in the studies were 20 to 30 minutes. I kind of gave the amount of pressure, which I know listeners probably aren't that interested in. But the general takeaway is that, yes, the tech may help you to feel less sore, but it's far from a guarantee, and don't expect it to dramatically boost next day performance at all, because the results were pretty underwhelming. To kind of like give a little bit of a tagline, if you love them and have them already or have easy access to them, they might be of benefit. But if you're choosing between boots and like a 30-minute walk with a good bit of protein for recovery, like I'd pick the walk and protein every time. I feel like if you're like a higher performance athlete and you can use it as an additional to everything else, it might have more of like an impact on the scale. But for the everyday person, yeah, the research isn't looking too good.
I feel like with this whole topic, it's almost like there's two camps, and it's like, okay, what's actually going to create a physiological change in your body? I think you already said this before, versus what is like ritualistic or mental.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I said, oh, I love these Normatec boots, it's very much like you sit down in a loungy chair, lay back, put your pods in and like listen to a book or something. And you get this like nice squeezy massage on your legs. Like as long as there's no negative, then we're good.
Yeah,
like
exactly
that's something that that is pure placebo, or this like tiny, what did you say, like perceived change in soreness.
Yeah.
But it's not actually aiding our body in the recovery processes that it needs to go through for us to be healthy and safe and recover well. Not
significantly. But he's saying that even after reading this, I'm like, I want to try this because it sounds delightful.
It really is great. I'm not selling. I would never get it, but like you have a friend with some Normatec boots, and that's great.
I imagine they're quite expensive, right?
They have to be.
Yeah.
Like these heavy duty thing.
Yeah.
Or like I remember going to a physical therapist once, and like while you wait for your appointment, you can wear them. So it's probably like not even a dose of time that is helpful, but
sure.
It's like being in a massage chair.
Yeah. That's fair. This is kind of a trend over a lot of these topics, that I'm talking about today, as it's like the little 1% might help. The one that I was going to start with, which we'll jump onto now, is whole body cryotherapy, which is basically like the giant freezer, right? If you're kind of putting it in everyday language. And this one was quite interesting. Like the general pitch is reduced inflammation, accelerated recovery, boosting performance. There's a lot of like burning calorie claims and reversing aging. I'm sure that Brian Johnson's probably a massive fan of probably spends a lot of time in these, and there seems to be very limited evidence for the support of whole body cryotherapy on muscle damage, insubstantial effect on muscle damage markers of muscle regeneration. Like it's all just a little bit meh. There was a meta-analysis on all of this, and it's like when I was speaking, if anyone's listened to our cold water immersion episode, everyone does it for different temperatures and different times, so it's really hard to find loads of research saying that this is awesome because there's so many different protocols that people follow. But this meta-analysis, just to kind of summarize it quite nicely, on muscle soreness, there was some reductions in soreness 1 hour after whole body cryotherapy. The data on like tiredness, well-being, strength and power is like next to none. It's really sparse and inconclusive. And the author's bottom line for a lot of this stuff is there's insufficient evidence to say whether whole body cryotherapy like reduces muscle soreness or improves subjective recovery after exercise. As with all of this research, hardly any research on women again. So all of this needs to be taken with a bucket load of salt, and more research is needed. So I wouldn't be throwing yourself into a freezing cold room expecting anything significant here.
It's not wild to me because I know the wellness industry well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it is kind of wild that this whole industry exists with like stores and storefronts that have these cryotherapy recovery chambers when there is really no evidence, because the marketing for such things will tell you there's a ton of evidence, right?
Yeah.
Like they exist and have memberships to these places because this will help you with inflammation. This will help you with your recovery, etc. But I guess like in my mind, I'm going through like, that's pretty wild to build all these businesses on little to no data.
Yeah, so it's really interesting in that because there's lots of data looking at like really specific markers of health and improvements of recovery and inflammation, all that kind of stuff. So you'll have some research papers being like, oh yeah, there was a significant impact there in reducing inflammation markers. But if you look at it on like the grand scale of everything that a human being does to promote recovery, like you just have to put it in context. And are these things worth the amount of money, the amount of time, the amount of effort? Like I'd always just put myself in the camp of no, like probably not. Like just go and chill out for a bit and take a nice walk. Like it seems like that's just going to have far significant impact in comparison to all of this stuff that looks really fancy on social media.
I hope that can be almost like a comforting message, because let's preface this whole conversation with the privilege to train hard frequently is just that, a privilege. You have access to a gym and you have time to do such a thing. Like needing recovery is pretty much a privilege.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
agreed.
it could be your work, right? You could be like very like manual labor, very like demanding physical work. But from the training perspective, like it's a privilege to need recovery. And then it's like complete elite privilege to feel like, oh, and now to recover, I need a cryo chamber and Normatec boots and red light, infrared sauna. So I hope it can be also comforting to be like, okay, well, like I can train hard and it's hard enough for me to put my energy and time into those things that I can also just do these free things to recover for myself.
Agreed. And it's just the social media impact, isn't it? Again, like it's as I mentioned at the start, it's the performative nature of wellness now. Like it's just the really effective things are so boring that this just looks way cooler. And then if you see your favorite sports person or favorite influencer using it, you'll think, oh, I need to be doing that too. And it's just a little bit wild. So the next thing I was going to talk about is red light therapy, or photobiomodulation, like kind of like the glow stick bed. I'm trying to think of like really like everyday language to describe these things. You've probably seen people once again on social media taking a selfie inside this kind of like red, kind of like a sunbed type thing. Once again, the pitch for these are quite wild. So rechargeable mitochondria. Yeah, there we go. Reduces inflammation, faster tissue healing, perfect skin. I'm not going to talk on skin because it's not my area of expertise. However, I do think there is some research about red light therapy being beneficial in terms of skin health. But I'm not going to be talking about that today. Stronger lifts as well. There's claims about it kind of being able to make you get stronger too. I'm just laughing as I'm saying this out loud because it's so ridiculous. So let's talk about it a little bit. So in the recovery world, the idea is pretty appealing. Like red and near infrared light stimulate mitochondria, reducing oxidative stress and inflammation. And yes, there are actually some meta-analysis and systematic reviews looking at this. And they found that while photobiomodulation significantly reduced pain in injured athletes, it did not meaningfully reduce the time to return to play. So once again, it's kind of like a perceived benefit that seems to be at play here. Another meta-analysis focused on running performance concluded that photobiomodulation alone or combined with training did not improve running time trials or time to exhaustion. And yet another very recent systematic review on whole body photobiomodulation found no meaningful evidence for improved exercise recovery or performance. So it might help you feel a little bit less sore and feel good, but benefit in terms of practical usage, no, not very much.
Two things I'm thinking about here is, one, I'm going to say this with like, take this with a grain of salt. I'm going to look at the literature more because now I'm really interested. I have read a good amount about, read both good amount about red light therapy in this same context for like pelvic health recovery. So I'm really interested to look further. Second thing is, I'm just like throwing out what's in my brain, by the way, Michael. I think you get that by now. If say we're talking about an NBA star, an elite athlete, so peak performance, training, nutrition, sleep, they kind of have it down, and
Optimized,
that
yeah.
is life. It's optimized. Do we think that the boots, the cryo, the red light, infrared sauna, etc., do we think those then like move the needle for these individuals?
I think they do. Yeah, I personally think they do. I think when you're playing at that level, like I see like a few like Premier League football players and stuff / soccer players using them, and you think like when that like 0.1% difference is the difference between you getting there and stopping a shot on goal and not, like it, if that's going to help, then fantastic. But for the everyday person, no. I'm thinking in terms of like the rehab bit you just mentioned there, and I think if I'm just trying to kind of hypothesize here, like, yeah, if you can use a tool that's going to make you feel less pain and feel better in order to then do rehab more effectively, then that's probably a good thing. So yeah, there's a lot of what ifs here.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just really helpful to talk through because I'm thinking through this like, okay, how does this conversation play into the industry? What we're told we need, what we're sold, what we're promised as a, a byproduct of these different recovery mechanisms or products. And I think it's like helpful to talk through, and it's interesting
Yeah.
to talk through. And it's also a little of a gut check with ourselves. Like, am I the level where I need this 0.1% support?
Yeah.
Or would this actually benefit me as something that gets me to slow down and like take my recovery seriously or whatever it may be? I think it's just, I think it's fun to talk through.
Yeah.
What do we have next? I love this.
So next is kind of on the like red light therapy kind of line is infrared saunas. So unlike traditional saunas, infrared saunas don't heat the air around. I didn't know this about, I loved reading about this part because I actually didn't know how they worked. So infrared saunas don't heat the air around you. Instead, the infrared lamps, which use electromagnetic radiation, warm your body directly. I thought that was cool. These saunas use infrared panels instead of conventional heat to easily penetrate human tissue, heating up your body before heating up the air. An infrared sauna can operate at a lower temperature than a traditional sauna as well. Some of the claimed benefits here are, but this is a long list, better sleep, relaxation, detoxification, weight loss, relief from sore muscles, relief from joint pain such as arthritis, clear and tighter skin, improved circulation, and relief from chronic fatigue syndrome symptoms too.
Change your life.
Yeah, it really can. So the funny thing here is that there's a lot of claims. Like people have been using saunas for like thousands of years, right? And I think on the grand scheme of things, like there's some benefits to doing them. There's very little research actually on infrared saunas directly. So trying to find the research about like health benefits of infrared saunas, it kind of just always comes back to regular saunas and ties it all in together. And it's like, yeah, sitting in a hot room can have some benefit. So it's actually really hard to find out whether these have added benefit compared to conventional saunas. The research is just very, 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 very thin. Like some research has shown that using an infrared sauna may be beneficial for cardiovascular health after a workout, but there's really a lack of solid evidence here. So back to the conversation we're having quite a lot here is the sauna giving you a benefit, or are you slowing down, sitting in a nice warm room, letting your body relax? Like it's all of these things that's probably where the benefit is mostly coming from. There might be a little bit benefit from added heat, but it's probably just from slowing down at a slower pace.
It's interesting that you can't even find much research. It kind of goes back to like, wow, there are industries created selling these, but we don't really know too much. I will say the one time I went into infrared sauna, I've done all of these things we've said, by the way. I've done
Have you really?
I've done all of them.
Wow. Okay.
And well, let me like give context. When I lived in Memphis, we were part of this fitness community, Diversifit. If any of you are listening, I love you all to death. You're like still my favorite people ever. And basically you got like, when you had a fitness pass with them, you had a pass to all like a CrossFit gym plus a yoga studio plus a Pilates studio plus cycle studio plus the recovery place and blah, blah, right?
Yeah.
So like you got all of it. And I was an instructor for them and did nutrition for a lot of them. So anyway, that is why I've done all of these things, including the espresso, hot flow, power, hot
Nice.
yoga, whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say that the time I did the infrared sauna, I went in so excited because I do love a sauna, and then was really upset, like sad, because it's not warm in there. I just remember being like, wow, I'm kind of cold. Like you're just sitting in a room with light, but it's not like,
It's not the same.
it's not the same. Like I find a sauna so like Oh, this is
Oh,
nice.
see,
Like
I
you settle
don't.
in,
I
really?
don't like being really hot. Like I like
Oh,
warm weather, but I don't like. I've never liked sitting in a sauna. I feel it feels quite claustrophobic
it
to
does. It
me.
is a little claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Well,
So
then
maybe
maybe
I'd
you would
prefer.
like.
Yeah, maybe I would. So just to kind of like on the other end of the spectrum here is, I once again I'm going to link to all this research in the show notes if anyone wants to delve deeper into any of these individual topics I'm talking about. But there was one research paper that did come to the conclusion that a single post-exercise infrared sauna session improved recovery of explosive strength capacities and decreased subjective muscle soreness 1 day after resistance exercise. So once again, might have a good impact on how sore you are feeling, and then might boost recovery a little bit. But also it once again highlights that way more research is needed before any conclusions can be made. So
Interesting.
yeah, there we go. So the last one that I'm going to touch on, I did have a section here about cold water immersion, but once again, if you can jump back to episode 60, I think it is, titled Cold Water Immersion, the chilling truth behind ice baths, that will give you everything you need to know about ice baths. But in short, there's a lot of wild health claims again that just don't quite match up. The final one that I wanted to touch on was massage guns. Have you... Of course you've used it. You've used a massage gun, right, Kate?
Of course.
I could just think of the most obscure recovery tool here, and Kate would be like, yeah, done it.
So I've actually had a massage gun. That's the only one that I've purchased
nice.
for myself.
Yeah.
And then I lent it to someone who never gave it back. So sometimes I really miss that.
Name and shame them, Kate. I think we should really call them out on this podcast.
No.
Instagram handle, everything. We want everyone to
I
message
want
this.
it back. Just kidding. I love these things. So I don't want you to tell me they're not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Just kidding. You tell I want to hear, but that could not change that when you sit down in front of the TV for 10 minutes on the floor and then you massage your sore quads. Oh, yeah. So great.
Yeah, so there was a good systematic review on this actually in the Journal of Functional Morphology and Kinesiology, which looked at the impact of massage guns on both performance and recovery. And the authors found that while these devices can help improve short-term range of motion, flexibility, and recovery from fatigue, they did not enhance and in some cases even reduced strength and explosive power, agility, and balance. So I think it kind of goes back to our stretching episode that we did, Kate, where I think that it might be a helpful recovery tool if used at the right time and not too close to a workout, for example. So in short, great for loosening up and recovering, but don't count on any significant performance boost from explosive power or anything, because it's just a massage, a different way of kind of getting a nice massage. Yeah.
Are we diving into massage in general here?
I wasn't going to, no. Simply because the research is vast. I couldn't cover that in a really short topic. I think we need actually a whole episode. We will actually signpost this, Kate. I think we should do a whole episode on sports, on sports massage. And we could even maybe have someone come in and talk with us about it. I think with some of these topics, I don't want to shorthand it and jump to any conclusions too soon. But absolutely, massage is one of the best recovery tools in terms of limiting soreness post-workout. Whether it has significant kind of direct correlations in making you recover faster, I'm not sure. But in terms of feelings of fatigue, it's actually, the research is pretty set in it helping there.
That would be my peak. That. I live in an ideal world. I have a masseuse on hand. Yeah. Right? That just sounds amazing.
I've
do you not
never
like
had.
it?
No, I do. I'm just saying I've never had a nice massage before, right?
What?
So I've only ever had a sports massage, which if anyone listening who's had a sports massage, it's not relaxing.
Oh, but that's all I like. I don't like a relaxed massage.
Oh, okay. And then we had
sports massage.
Oh, okay. You like kind of being beaten up a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. This we won't read too much into this, Kate. So when we went on our honeymoon to Thailand, I had a Thai massage, and I remember looking over at Emma and it looked like she was having a lovely time. And then whilst I was looking over at Emma having a lovely time, the person giving me the massage was standing on my back and pulling my arms behind me. And it just wasn't relaxing at all. So I feel like I want to go and have a nice massage for once, because I think I would enjoy that a lot more. Thank you, Kate. I'd appreciate it.
One question I have for you as we're talking through, I know this is your episode, but now I'm interviewing you. Get ready. As we're talking through all this, I know that for you and I both, we have had pasts where our performance or our training was like a really big part of what we were doing. You've done an Ironman. I was ultra running at a time. You know, we've been competitive in sport. And I know that we fast forward to right now and our training is more like maintain fitness.
Yeah, just clinging onto muscle. Don't leave me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like just keep the muscle mass and bone density.
Yep.
As we trudge through life. But I'm curious if your recovery, like there has been a point where you were like, recovery is everything. And like, this is a huge part of what I do, and what that looked like for you, like maybe at peak training.
Yeah, I guess the two things that I always prioritized were, which you mentioned at the start of this episode, was sleep. First of all, I always used to really pride myself in having such good sleep. I
see the sadness in your eyes.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a tough 2.5 years, Kate. I used to, when me and Emma used to go to bed, like if we were about to get into bed, I'd have to, if we had to have a conversation about something or want to discuss anything, I used to have to do it before lying down, because I would touch that pillow and I was out like a light.
Oh my gosh, Michael, we are the same. If Kenny tries to talk to me in bed, I'm like, no.
What are you doing?
This is not a place for conversation.
Yeah, and Emma would always joke, because I would literally fall asleep. Like as soon as my head was down, I'd fall asleep and I'd sleep great. I know there's a lot of people listening to this who have suffered with sleep who are probably kind of cursing at me right now. But that was the thing that I always was like a non-negotiable. I was like, I'm getting my 8 hours at least. And protein and food, like good food intake and protein, was always like the two things that I would really prioritize. Other than that, I'm a pretty laid back person. I wasn't anyone who like went out drinking heavily or like to party hard. I'm pretty chill. So as long as I had that time to sleep and I was eating good, like most of my recovery was sorted. I was also a bit younger too, so I guess it's a little bit easier to manage.
It is quite upsetting how much more important it is to warm up for a workout or cool down.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, my shoulders are not good unless I get them moving for a good 10 minutes before this workout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, I could just hop out,
Jump
like
in.
roll out of bed into a CrossFit class.
Yeah.
And now I would just frankly die. Yeah, it's interesting to hear, because I can think of times where like I actively thought of recovery. Now I'm like, I don't know. I don't even work out as much as I want. My life is more recovery than
I think that's the
fitness.
same as me.
Like I would
now.
like to be working out more than I am.
Agreed. I my recovery now is like life just forces me to not work out because I'm so busy, and that's the time that I recover. You know, I think we're probably in the same boat there, Kate.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, is just not doing anything recovery? Like, is just that I had to skip 3 days of workouts because I was too busy. Is that recovery?
I think it probably is. Mentally, you're probably quite fatigued, but physically, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I would say the last 6 months is since our second son has arrived, is I've never exercised less than this period. Just because I'm so busy. So I don't really need to worry about factoring in rest days at all, because I am just trying to squeeze in workouts whenever I can. Sad times. We'll get back to it, Kate. Don't worry.
And that's the How to Fitness podcast, where Kate and Michael came away depressed.
We'll be back. We'll reach out. We're yet to reach our prime, Kate. I can feel it. We'll get there.
I really cling to that idea, so thank you.
Yeah, we will. Yeah. Do you have any, we're really going off topic here. Do you have any like goals in the back of your mind of like, when life allows it, this fitness wise I really want to achieve?
Well, for me, it's less time. Like time is totally a factor, but I have I have all this birth injury nonsense that like I can't run but I want to. I can't lift anything lower body, like no hinging or squatting, so that kind of takes away my strength training. Right now, what I'm contemplating, I'm a very competitive person and I just want to compete in something, even if it's with myself. I would really like to race mountain bikes, because I think I could do it with my current, like I've got this like nerve damage through my back that is really bothersome. I think maybe I could, but as I've like gotten on the bike more recently, lately, my back has gotten worse. So I'm more injury prohibited right now, but in an ideal world, I would be back to running. And I have run ultras in the past, and I have literally no interest in a marathon, but I do have interest in ultra marathons.
Awesome.
And racing a mountain bike.
I like it.
How about you?
So I've done Ironman 70.3s. I want to do the kind of full Ironman in... Emma's like, do it when you turn 40. I'm like, that feels like a long way away. It's not. It's like 5 years. But I'd like to do it before then. Yeah, it's too long. I'd like to do that before then. I've never done an ultramarathon. I would really like to do an ultramarathon. There's some really cool ones in Scotland here.
I bet.
Yeah, like the scenery here is just beautiful. They do one that's called the Coast to Coast that's run by Rat Race, if anyone's listening on their phone and wants to check it out, where it's like a mixture of running, mountain biking and kayaking at the end, which looks, you basically go from one side. Yes, you go from one side of Scotland to the other. I would love to do that. If you want to come over here and do that with me, Kate.
I will do that with you. Done.
There we go.
Let's do that.
It's
honestly, I need to be able to run first, but then like
the videos of people doing it, it's just beautiful as well. So that's kind of the back of mind. I would love to do that. So they're the two things. Yeah.
Well, look out, world.
We're coming.
I want to do that. I want to do that adventure race. Yeah. Well, interesting topic. I wish I was more concerned about recovery, but I think the takeaway is that we are doing a lot of the things already that aid in recovery, and the other stuff could be nice, more from a mental standpoint than a physical one.
Yeah. And there's lots of other things that we could put in those categories, like PEMF mats, there's like pin mats, flotation tanks that you mentioned as well, Kate, things like cupping and stuff like that, where the research around like genuine benefit is quite minimal, but some people say that it makes them feel a lot better and they feel less sore, and that all counts, So I think that's probably just the general takeaway. I did have some other bits I was going to cover, but we've kind of discussed it in between the episode. Just remember that recovery doesn't have to be sexy. Like, it's doing all the really boring stuff all of the time. Usually the kind of sexier it looks, the worse the tool actually is in helping you recover. So use tools if you have access to them. If you have the financial means to use them, then yeah, sure, give it a whirl. But don't get frustrated that you can't invest in recovery boots or infrared saunas, because it's really not going to have that much of an impact.
I kind of want to rebrand the idea of it being boring to being more doable.
Yeah.
Like accessible.
I like that. Yeah, let's use that.
Do the more accessible stuff. Because hopefully you have, I don't know, a water bottle.
Yeah.
A bed to sleep in.
Yeah.
Maybe your children sleep well. I don't know. If so, great.
Send us tips. Yeah. Well, focus on your sleep. Make sure you're eating enough, and that's the large majority of the way. And then just try and chill a little bit more, which is easier said than done sometimes, but it helps.
I loved this, Michael. I learned a good amount.
Thank you, Kate. Much appreciated. I hope everyone listening has enjoyed the episode. Please do give us a review if you enjoyed it. Even if you didn't enjoy it, please give us a nice review anyway. We'd really appreciate it. Anything else you want to cover here, Kate?
Nope, that's it. We're always grateful for you for listening, and we love continuing these conversations outside of the podcast in DMs or emails. We always want to talk to you. So thank you for listening.
See ya.